Subscribe to our YouTube channel and press the bell icon to get the latest updates.
Our former chief economic advisor Arvind Subramanian had coined an interesting term once. He had called it the twin balance sheet problem. That was the problem of Indian borrowers who were not able to service their debt and Indian banks whose balance sheets were short in the process because their borrowers were not paying back. So that was the twin balance sheet problem. India was hardly able to get halfway out of that problem when it's got into a twin graphics problem, if I may put it like that. Now, what is this twin graphics problem? Because the set of graphics that should be going up is actually going down. That is the economic growth and all the other economic indicators. And the set of graphics which should have been going down is actually going up, which is coronavirus numbers. Now, this is not a ranting session and I don't know enough to rant nevertheless. Also, Cut the Clutter is not about ranting. Also, let me focus on where we think we can declutter something for you. So, economics, now I am even less of an economist than I might be a doctor, and certainly my knowledge of economics also is not even a fraction of what it might be for politics, which is not saying very much. Nevertheless, look at the situation with India's economy. As we told you earlier, economy is down like this, coronavirus is up like this, and there seems to be no flattening of either curve. So, let's talk about the economy first. Now, Finance Minister said just the other day that this is an act of God. That was in reference to what the states are demanding as their share of GST. Now, first of all, GST is something that the states have left with the center in trust. So in a situation of cooperative federalism, when all the states agree to trust the center or the federal government with the main source of their revenue, that is like trusting in God. Remember, American currency notes say, in God we trust. So this is like states trusting the God, which is the center. The center says now, act of God, because there is a God above me as well. Leave it there. It may be an act of God over these 1 quarter when India's growth rate has collapsed by negative 23.9%. Probably the first time such a negative growth rate has been registered since 1947. So, you can blame God because God made coronavirus. If God made all the good things in life, God made coronavirus as well. So, you can blame God for this quarter. But what is it that was happening before this? So, remember, there was that famous television serial in America. ABC had produced it, I think, in 1983, but became globally famous, and that metaphor also became globally much used. That is the day after. That is, what will the world look like after NATO and Warsaw Pact have had their full-fledged nuclear exchange. Now, turn that upside down. I would say that while you blame God or an act of God for what happened in this quarter, that is April, May, June of this year, first quarter of this financial year, what was happening the day before? So, devastation the day after we keep talking about. What about the situation the day before? And that is where I want to take you right now. I will talk more about the politics of this economic crisis. On the economy, as I confessed, I don't know so much, so I will borrow some wisdom from T.N. Nayanan, who without doubt is the dean and doyen of the School of Financial, Business, Economic Journalism in India. And I'll quote from an article that we published just this Saturday, which is published simultaneously with his paper, The Business Standard. Now, if you look at, go 7 quarters backwards from this disaster quarter. Remember the old joke about QSQT, the all of us being prisoners of quarter tak performance pressure. Now, if you look backwards, actually it looks quite revealing. It's been downhill consistently. So, reminds me of that line from Kevin Spacey in that 1999 movie American Beauty, dark humor, black humor in fact, where he says that after its one high point in the morning, the rest of his day is downhill. Now, that reference was a little bit cheesy, so I don't want to want you to start googling that, but the fact is that this is a consistent fall. There has been nothing to show for India's economy or economic management in the 8 quarters, at least 8 quarters. 8 quarters is 2 full years. So, if this quarter is an act of God, then something must have been an act of man, woman, men, women. We must have done something wrong to have our economy go downhill like that. In fact, if you look at the data again more carefully, then the last time we saw our economy at say 8.2 level was Q1 in 2018. That was a bit of a fluke, because before that it had been going lower already. But if you look at it substantively, then Q2 2015 7.4% was the high point in India's economic growth. Until then it was going up, then it had a little bit of bounce here and there, what stock markets call maybe a dead cat bounce. But the fact is that India broke its own economic momentum towards the end of 2016 with what? With demonetization. So, demonetization, I have said this again and I am saying it again and again and again, that demonetization had nothing to comment for itself economically. Politically, yes, because Mr. Modi was able to give people the impression that he is a very strong, decisive leader, and now 1000 rupee notes are floating in Ganga river. He said that in UP campaign, and now India will be digitized and India will have a free economy. No such thing happened. No gains came to India or India's economy through demonetization. If anything, that puncturing of your own wheels has left your vehicle struggling, vehicle of your economy struggling since then. So, what was happily floating in 7.5% is now had already come down to 3.1%. That was lower than the average India had in the forgettable days of what Professor Raj Krishna had called somewhat inappropriately the Hindu rate of growth. I know every time we repeat that line, a lot of people think it's an insult to Hinduism. It is not. It is something that an economist, an expression that an economist use, that if you settle down to 2-3%, which is a philosophical acceptance of a bad economy or of a struggling economy, then that was the Indian economy. So, India's economy was already at that low growth rate even before the pandemic had truly hit India. Then towards the end of March came the big lockdowns. Now, if you look further, I am also looking at all sides. So, I am also looking at the promotional or propaganda or the PR video that the BJP has put out. It's a cartoon video with two gentlemen talking and discussing, one explaining to the other why you must see India's economic decline right now in perspective and why things may not be as bad as they seem to be. So, in this one, the good guy is telling the doubtful guy that look, IMF had already said that Spain will decline by 22%, UK will decline by 21%, France will decline by 18%, Italy will decline by 17%, EU by 14.4%, America by 9.5%. So, what is the big deal if India goes down also by 23.9%? In a way, literally speaking, yes, there is an argument there. There is a counter argument also that look at China, it is actually growing at 1%. But leave China aside, that is a sui generis case. But when India declines by 23%, given that India's nominal economic growth is much higher. India is a growing economy. So, first of all, your net growth rate, that 6 or 7% is gone. Then the growth you would get by way of inflation is gone. So, compared to a European country or compared to to America, an Indian decline of 23% becomes much higher than it would have been in the case of those countries, because India has gone from sizable positive growth to very sizable negative growth. Again, the same video goes on to say, oh, IMF had earlier projected India will grow 1.9% this year, but that is before all the big lockdowns came. But even after that, IMF is saying India will degrow by negative 4.5% this year. But look at the other countries. IMF thinks that France will decline 12.5%, US will decline 8%, UK will decline 10.2%, Russia will decline 6.6%. Now, once again, दिल बहलाने को ये ख्याल अच्छा है, but this is for India with such a low economic base and such a low per capita income. This is a big loss, and how much of a damage it is, please refer to this article by T.N. Nayanan, in which he predicted that India's recovery, when it takes place, will not be V-shaped, will not be U-shaped, will not be W-shaped, it will be actually K-shaped. What K-shaped means, you have the perpendicular, then you have one line going this way, one going this way. So, winners will keep on winning, losers will keep on losing, which means those who survive this and who can take advantage of the situation, some corporates in India for example, or those who have the resources or who can raise the resources, they will gain from it, and the losers will get further buried deeper and the picture will look bad. But in that article, he predicts, actually predict is wrong, he debates the idea that India's growth potential could now go back to about 5%. So, if India's growth potential now goes to about 5%, this will mean taking India back to the 80s or 90s. That's where India was growing between 5 and 6%. So, you've gone even behind your pre-reform period. That is very bad for India for a low base economy. If that is not bad enough, he dices this data in another way and calculates that in 2022-23, average Indians' real income adjusted for inflation will be exactly the same as that in 2019-20. So, while it might look like your income has grown a little bit over 3 years, frankly, the value of the money you are earning will remain the same, which means, as he says, this will be 3 lost years for India's economy and for India's wage earners, India's entrepreneurs and India in general. So, if you look at all this, this does not look nice. In fact, he concludes there by saying that, look, this is not a pretty sight, and the fact is that 5% growth rate now looks like a possibility. So, look at all this, you cannot blame anything barring this one quarter on God, because gods have a lot to do. Gods are not underemployed. Gods also help those who help themselves. The fact is that much before God came chasing after us with coronavirus, it should not have, but God's not always fair. We had already done plenty to damage our economy. And for us now to start the repair work, we have to honestly introspect on what we did wrong and how did we get into such a bad place from 8.2% quarterly growth to 3.1% quarterly growth to begin with, that is until the virus came.